Hey y'all, this is Bridget London and the Highwaywoman Radio Show, coming to you from Austin, Texas.
Yes, here she comes, the Highwaywoman. She comes with music for your soul, and then moves along. She moves along.
If you're just joining us, this is Bridget London, and you're listening to the Highwaywoman Radio Show. And we have back one of our favorite guests, of course, Daryl Wayne Dasher on the show. Now, for those of you who don't know, Daryl was also the writer and performer of the Highwaywoman Radio Show intro and outro. So we thank him for that.
Oh, man. I'm so excited I get to be part of the show every week, no matter what anybody says.
That's right. That's right. Now, Daryl Wayne Dasher, folks, he's got a brand new album out this week called Great Big Sky, and we're going to be featuring cuts from that and talking to him about this record. So, how are you doing, Daryl?
Oh, I'm doing great. Thank you. It's been a little while since we've got to hang out, so lots of changing and adjusting, and, you know, I think last time I talked to you, I think I was a complete stress ball because I was in the midst of mixing all this down, and, you know, that final moment of the project where you hate it 5 minutes and then you love it for 10 minutes and, you know, that kind of thing. So now I've stepped away from it long enough that everything is sort of even keel, and I'm ready to go out and hit the road.
Well, the album is just wonderful, and of course, for our listeners, I've been playing cuts from it. I've featured Mountains of Montana and Follow Me. I've tried, I think, and I'm trying to think there might be another one off the... Again, I think I've also played, which has been fun to be able to preview tracks. I thank you for that, and it always cracks me up because those of us who know and love you call you Dash, so it feels so formal to call you Daryl.
I know, it sounds formal. I feel like I should go get us better clothes on or something.
Hello, Daryl. Hello, Daryl. Let's talk about your record, Daryl.
Well, yes, Bridget.
It's fun. It's fun. So you've also got another great solo album out. I just want to remind folks about Long Road Now, and they can pick that up. I love that record. I've played cuts from that record probably every show until this new one, and I'll continue to play it, so we want to remind folks about that. Now, this one is a little bit different. It's more, would you say, acoustic-based, and you played all the instruments on this record pretty much, didn't you? You want to talk a little bit about why you chose to go this direction, and we'll feature a cut from it.
Sure, yeah. Yeah, compared to the last record, which, thank you for plugging it. I'm still proud of that one because it was such a defining moment, and it was, you know, recorded in a cool way. It was kind of live, you know, and this one was completely different for two reasons. The one that sounds good is that I just wanted to try something new, and the one that's probably more real is budget.
Right.
You know, I mean, I had to make cuts, and so I was really trying to figure out how to do that. And in the process, I ended up having to learn how to play several instruments in order to make it happen, like the mandolin and the harmonica. And so I spent a lot of hours on YouTube, kind of like studying these instruments.
I love it.
And so that was part of the deal. But I really did want it to be organic. I wanted it to be very very acoustic and kind of reflect some of the music I grew up listening to, like Dylan and Joan Baez, but still have that real classic country feel to it. And so I was kind of thinking Don Williams, you know, meets that kind of Dylan-esque folky stuff. So And I was
Yeah.
going for the folk and western feel, I guess. So that's where I was headed. I don't know if I got there, but that's where I was headed.
Well, that's exactly how it comes across. And let's get into some music right away, and then we'll come back and talk about some of these songs. So let's start off with the one that kind of always blows people away, the vocals on here. Mountains of Montana. Did you write this while you were on the road, or just missing Montana, or?
Yeah, I appreciate you playing it. It's probably my favorite cut on the record. It goes back and forth. I think my favorite one's probably Follow Me, but Mountains of Montana is where the theme of the album really all kind of came together. The whole album is kind of about voyaging into new things, and for me it's kind of like going west, that going west feeling, like you're going somewhere that is new, the American dream kind of thing. And when I lived in Montana, it just felt like home. Of course, I had to kind of come back to Nashville to pursue the music thing. I've missed it pretty much every day since I left. So that came from a real deep down, just kind of missing Montana thing. And then it turned out to be kind of the focal point for the character that sort of kind of goes through the rest of the record.
Well, let's play it. I love this so much. Mountains of Montana, folks, with my special guest, Mr. Daryl Wayne Dasher. We'll be right back.
Well, I'm going back to the mountains of Montana, back where my heart has never left, back to the mountains of Montana. If I don't go, my soul will never rest. I don't.
Anybody trying to sing along with that, hitting that high note? Wow. Daryl Wayne Dasher, folks. Mountains of Montana.
Since you mentioned that, I'd actually just reminded me, I don't usually hit that. But there's a friend of ours that's a mutual friend in Australia, and Indy Rosser, and he records these videos out on the highway. And literally, some of them, they show him like actually driving and singing along, like he makes these karaoke tapes. And he made one for Mountains of Montana, and I was just blown away by it. I think he actually did a better job than I did, so I might have to study his version for a while.
I didn't know that. I'm going to have to go check that out. I did not know that. That's awesome. I love Indy. He's a trip.
That was a proud moment for me. I'm like, hey, somebody is driving a truck in the outback of Australia singing this song,
That is amazing. That is amazing. Wow, I love that. Now, you've got some CD releases planned for this record. What's happening with that? Where are you in Nashville? We should tell folks you're based out of Nashville, originally from Ohio, but have lived all over, including out in Yellowstone.
Yeah, yep. Yellowstone is, I'd like to make home somewhere near there again someday. But yeah, I've been in Nashville my first summer here was 1997. What year is this? 2013. Yeah, so I've been here too long now. But but yeah, this is where I got my musical start, and was in a rock band here, or actually kind of I guess you would call it an Americana rock band here for about 12 years. And
a very successful one. Did great with Mellow Down Easy.
Yeah, we had a lot of fun, and mostly it was just such a huge learning experience because we just dove in. We had no idea what we were doing, and still probably don't, but and it was a bond that will be forever. We all still work with each other. Actually, Rodney Russell, the drummer, is the percussionist on this new record. One of the instruments I didn't do was a lot of the percussion because it was just fun to work with Rodney again, and he was getting into all these kind of world percussion instruments and things like the oudou. I don't even know how to explain it, but the oudou, he used the cajon, we used the cocorico, and there was just all these cool instruments, and it made it fun, to kind of work with these things and try them out in a country setting. And and Andrew Adkins is a co-writer on I've Tried. So even on this record, we're still all working together. So that was important. However, the CD release party is going to be in Memphis, Tennessee, and a lot of that is due to Mellow Down Easy too, but that area has just always been more supportive of my career and the kind of direction I was going from day one. And then when I put my first solo record out, and I thought, oh, they're going to expect, rock. They were so on board and so supportive. And that whole area of Memphis and that area of Mississippi, I think that's really where my best and most loyal fan base is. And it just happened that Radio Memphis was able to hook me up with the Hard Rock there, whose director used to be in Nashville. So I knew him from playing the Hard Rock Cafe here in Nashville, and he's in Memphis now too. So it just sort of fell together that's where we're going to hold the release party. So, yeah.
Very cool, very cool. We want to tell folks, of course, they can find out about all this information. You want to give out your website where they can find it?
That's right. Actually, we have all kinds of new stuff. So thank you for mentioning that. I always forget those things. The website now is dwdasher.com.
dw-dasher.com.
Yep, brand new website. So please check it out. The new Facebook is also Facebook/DWDasher. The new YouTube is /DWDasher. And the Twitter is DWD Music.
All right, very cool. Well, nowadays with social media, everybody can link up with you there. Let's play another track from the album. We're going to get serious here for a little moment and play Soldier. This is the first time I heard this. I'm so affected. It was so amazing to me. Will you talk a little bit about the song before we play it?
Yeah, Soldier was it was one of those songs that you and I have talked about where sometimes things kind of come out of the air and you realize that you're sort of receiving something.
Right.
And that was one of those for me. And it was actually just a really strangely emotional situation. I've never had a song coming along with some sort of like outside emotion, and it was so deep. This song, I don't know if it's a current energy that, the way that people are feeling right now, so, or if it's from a past Soldier, I don't know, but the song just basically came out within 10 minutes, and I sent it to a friend of mine in Afghanistan to kind of see, whether he would be offended by it or would attach to it, and he wrote a 3-page letter back explaining that every single detail was exactly where he was at, things he had thought of, his situation with his kids. And so, yeah, it's that was my confirmation that it was okay to do, and we laid it down, and there it is.
Well, I definitely think we should play it. The song is called Soldier, folks. It's off of the brand new album, Great Big Sky, by our special guest, Daryl Wayne Dasher.
I know it's not something a soldier's supposed to say, but I'm tired and I've had enough war. There's corn outside my window in fall. Then come the winter, nothing at all. And spring brings a rain that cuts through my bones. That's usually the time that I'm leaving home.
And that was Soldier from Daryl Wayne Dasher's new album, Great Big Sky. Let's take a different tone now and play another track, a song that I love watching you play live. Well, I love watching you play anything live, but Take You Home.
Oh. Yeah.
Talk about a whole different direction.
Yeah, that's definitely the dirtiest song I've ever written in my life. It's really not, it's still rated PG compared to, well, shoot, I guess New Country these days, but
right.
Yeah, it's that's my man song.
All right. Let's play Take You Home from Great Big Sky.
It's all I can do to take my eyes off and hands away from all the perfect parts of you I like. So what your eyes are telling me is that you wouldn't disagree with doing something right, and let them all say it's wrong. Oh, I'd love to take you home with me tonight.
And we're back here on the Highwaywoman Radio Show. We've been featuring cuts from Daryl Wayne Dasher's brand new album, Great Big Sky. Of course, it is available and out this week at all digital retailers and from his website if you want a physical copy. And don't you have another type of copy available too?
I do, actually. Yeah, I'm smiling ear to ear right now because I'm actually holding. I just got this yesterday from the factory, but it's also coming out LP. So this will be my first phonograph. And I'm excited. This is such a big deal for me because, growing up, that's all we listened to. And my favorite possessions were my records. And I would hold them and look at them and read the liner notes while you're listening. It was a real physical thing. So to actually look and see that, my music's actually been cut into these grooves, it just makes me feel like I've actually recorded a record,
I think it's wonderful. And a lot of folks out there do want vinyl. So if they want a vinyl copy, how do they get it?
They'll be able to get that on CD Baby as well. So they can go to cdbaby.com, type in Daryl Wayne Dasher, and they can get either the physical CD or the LP. I'll link that to the website, dwdasher.com.
Well, I think we need to play one more song. And I want to play the one that I just was so thrilled that you put on. I love your original stuff on here, too. That's what's great about this record is I think it shows, even more than your first solo album, you as a writer. And all the songs are originals on there, except for this one. Follow Me, True Love is Harder to Find.
Yeah, I was glad I had 10 cuts on this record. That made me feel like I was working harder at being a writer, and that is the most important thing to me right now as far as the music direction goes. But to get there, you have to be inspired, obviously. My biggest inspirations for this record, which was a 3-year process, so this goes over 3 years. Backing up just a little bit before that was when you introduced me to Heart-Worn Highways, the documentary movie. Mm-hmm. That was the first time I really saw Guy Clark and Townes Van Zandt and Larry John Wilson. Then I got to see Larry John Wilson at a house concert. It just started, everything was shifting. I was like, wow, I really need to focus harder on making songs that really mean something to other people, not just me. Started working on that, and then you and I were working on that project of Roger Allen Wade songs. And then Roger became one of my biggest influences. Then touring, when you brought us out to Tombstone, I ended up, we were touring with Billy Don Burns. Then he became one of my most inspirational writers. But so the fact that I got a Roger Allen Wade song on this record, it's not just that I love the song so much. The first time I heard this, it was from that, it was like a bootleg or something from the Saxon Pub. I just fell in love with it, and I emailed Roger, and I'm like, man, if you'd ever let me record that, that'd be great. And of course he was, Roger, he's the most gracious heart you could ever find. And so he wrote right back and said it would be fine, and I just kind of demoed it. That demo is really the version that turned out here. I went back in and had Rodney come in and do the percussion, and I had my longtime road sister, Carrie Lee, come in and play the fiddle on it. We just left it at that because the song speaks for itself. So even though it's the only one I didn't write, I think this is my favorite cut on the record.
Well, and I just love how Roger loved the cut, too. We thought that was so cool. We featured it on the show the last time when I had Roger as a guest, and you were my co-host, remember? And all the nice things he said about it, and he meant it. You can tell. I love that so much, and you do such a beautiful job with this and the whole record. The entire record is great, and we want to make sure we let folks know about that, but let's play this great cut. This is Daryl Wayne Dasher, folks. The song is Follow Me, True Love is Harder to Find.
Truth ain't some stone buried deep in the mountain. Love ain't just roses and wine. Truth is a journey for 1 in 10,000. And true love is even harder to find. If I sailed off to war, would you wait for me?
We're back here on the Highwaywoman Radio Show. This is Bridget London. We've been featuring songs from Daryl Wayne Dasher's brand new album, Great Big Sky. So really great to have you on the show. You've been on the show more than any other guest. I love it.
Wow, is that official? That's
oh
great.
yeah, definitely.
Man, I don't know. It's that I don't even know how that happened. I know that it has a lot to do with our connection as friends and stuff, but it's such a huge honor, and that I just get so tickled because, I'm like, how am I on this show? And we're talking. You got Billy Joe Shaver, you got Leroy Powell. I mean, it's just like the guests that are coming on this show. It makes it so fun to listen to every single time, and then when all of a sudden I'm on it, I'm like, wait a second here. How did I get here?
Well, I love you co-hosting. We'll have to do that again this year. I know you're going to be busy here for the summer, but maybe in the fall we'll come up with a good program, something that's fun for both of us, and you'll come back on as a co-host. What do you think?
Oh, I would love it. That would be a blast.
I would love that too. We have such a great time, and want to tell folks again that they need to get a copy of this record and Long Road Now. Let's see, if it's all right with you, I'd like to go out with a cut from Long Road Now. You did a absolutely beautiful version of a song I wrote called The Next Wind, and I was really honored that you put it on your album, and I love to play it any chance I get.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I don't know how that happened twice in a row now, but, again, the song I did not write, my favorite cut on the record.
Oh, I'd have to disagree with that. But obviously it's my favorite along with all the rest of them too, so... But we want to remind folks now that's dwdasher.com and facebook.com/dwdasher and
DWD Music is the Twitter.
DWD Music is the Twitter. They can search for Daryl Wayne Dasher. Anything else you want to share with our listeners before we go on out?
Oh, gosh, I don't think so. I just want to say thank you to the listeners, because the listeners of Highwaywoman Radio Show are a special group, and they're going to be involved in the way that music moves forward. So just thank you, Bridget, for having me. Thank you for doing this show, and thanks to the listeners for supporting us. It really, really means a lot.
Well, I love you, and I love this new album, and I can't wait for folks to get their hands on it. This week, folks, is Great Big Sky. We're going to go back in time a few years ago here with The Next Wind, a song of mine, actually, that Daryl Wayne Dasher, that still kills me, Daryl, that Daryl Wayne Dasher recorded on his album Long Road Now. Pick up a copy of that, too, while you're at it. Thanks so much, Dash. Love you.
Thank you. Love you, Bridget.
Meet me at the dawn. My soul is looking for a lighthouse to show me the way to move on. I cannot change the waters I travel on. Cannot change the storms that roll. I cannot change where I have left behind.
Thanks so much for tuning in. This is Bridget London, and this has been the Highwaywoman Radio Show.
Now there she goes, the highwaywoman, and she's brought music to your soul, and moves along. She moves along.